it's cold outside.
I gotta go away.
Baby, it's cold outside.
This evening has
Been hoping that you drop
so
in.
very nice.
I'll hold your hand.
Yeah, it's been a little chilly out there. In fact, you're out there shoveling global warming. Well, it's shoveling global warming off the dock. It's been a week now since it all melted, so it's actually getting a little warmer. Welcome back, Thom Hartmann here with you, Real Talk Radio, and Sarah in Marysville, Washington. Hey, Sarah, welcome to the show.
Hey, Tom, how are you doing today?
I am great, but I'll get better. How about you, Sarah?
I'm all right.
Good.
What it called about is I was talking to your screener. I work for, am I allowed to say who I work for, or do I have to be all cryptic about it?
It's fine. It's fine.
I work for Wal-Mart,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm not exactly thrilled about it, but I'm very grateful to have a job, period. But I wanted to talk to you a little bit about their pay practices as it regards the local economy.
Mm-hmm.
Most of the hourly associates that I work with, meaning the people who aren't salaried, obviously, most of us make so little, even if we've been there for years. We're not talking about people who've been there for less than 6 months and don't get benefits or anything like that.
Mm-hmm.
Most of us make so little we can't afford the benefits that we could get through work.
Right.
And
like the health
therefore,
insurance that they advertise on TV saying, isn't it wonderful we give our workers health insurance? They actually sell their workers health insurance, don't they?
So expensive. I pay a lot of money to insure myself and my child. And I pay more to have the insurance plus my deductible than I actually use every year.
Yeah. You would think that
Most
Walmart...
of us...
I'm sorry, go ahead.
Most of the people who work there don't bother to buy it, so they're uninsured, or their children are on the state, and then they're, for state medical, most of us qualify for food stamps or make just barely enough over the state limit so that we don't qualify for food stamps, which means a lot of us supplement our own grocery budget by going to food banks. Or, I have to do that. I had to swallow my pride this Christmas and go to the community toy drive so that I could do Christmas for my kids.
Yeah, and yet you have a job.
I have a job. I am a full-time associate. I've worked for the company for over 3 years. I just barely make over $11 an hour. Yeah. We are only allowed one potential raise a year. They raise their hiring wages, what they'll hire people for specific tasks that they're going to be hired for. Yeah. But they don't then go, that's supposed to be with cost of living, but then they don't raise the wage of the people who already work for them doing that job.
Yeah.
Do you see what I mean?
It is. And it is so wrong. Sarah.
So a lot of the people who are training the new people are making less than the people that they are training.
Oh, my.
And then there's also the aspect of most of us who are working there, who are the working poor, are living the only way that we can live, either renting our apartment or paying our mortgage, is to be on state assistance for as little as just medical coverage for our kids up to, the TANF, or whatever you call it in your state, the aid to needy families and food stamps and all that stuff.
Right.
I mean, the cost of that, the save money, live better makes me want to throw up every time.
And what this means is that the taxpayers of the United States are subsidizing Walmart. Basically, they're providing Walmart with a cheap labor pool by providing these subsidies. And yet, on the other hand, if we were to say, okay, we're going to do away with all these social safety net programs, which is what the conservatives want, then you would really be in desperate straits. Not to say that you're not already.
Absolutely.
Sarah, thank you so much. I wanted to thank you for sharing that with us. I want to just, have you made your point?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. I'm going to let you go. I want to riff on this for just a second, if I can. Teddy Roosevelt, the Republican president of the United States, Teddy Roosevelt, talking about a living wage.
We stand for a living wage.
We stand for a living wage.
That's abnormal if they fail to provide a living for those who devote their time and energy to industrial occupation. The monetary equivalent of a living wage varies according to local conditions.
The monetary equivalent of a local wage varies according to local conditions. But, and here is what, and this was in 1907, the President of the United States saying this should be our standard for what a person gets if they work 40 hours a week.
But must include enough to secure the elements of a normal standard of living.
A normal standard of living. Okay, Teddy, what is that?
A standard high enough to make morality possible.
Enough to make morality so you don't have to steal for food?
To provide for education and recreation.
For education and recreation, you can put your kids through school, you can take a vacation.
To care for immature members of the family.
Raise your children, care for immature members of the family.
To maintain the family during periods of sickness.
Take care of the family during periods of sickness, pay for your health care. This is the stuff that Teddy Roosevelt said for his living wage. He's the guy who created the phrase living wage. These are the things, and he says he
And to permit a reasonable saving for old age.
and to set aside enough money for your retirement. That is a living wage. $11 an hour in the United States is not a living wage. It is absolutely crazy that Sarah has to work for this so little money that she has to go out and ask for food stamps or show up at the food bank when she's willing to work. We have had historically, until Ronald Reagan came along, from the time Teddy Roosevelt laid this stuff out, and it was radical stuff back in that day, because that was the tail end of the robber baron era. And after the Great Depression, we started taking it seriously. During the Republican Great Depression, the first Republican Great Depression in the 1930s, we started taking this seriously and saying, we should have an economy where if somebody is willing to work a 30 or 40-hour week, or 40 or 50-hour week, actually, was the debate back then, if somebody's willing to work a 40-hour week, that they can, as Teddy Roosevelt just said, as you just heard the Republican President of the United States in 1907 say in a recording made, by the way, by Thomas Edison himself, if somebody's going to work a 40-hour week, they should be able to put their kids through school. They should be able to have and keep their home. They should be able to take a vacation. They should be able to cover 100% of their medical expenses without any problems. And they should be able to set aside enough that they can retire with grace and dignity. That is the American dream. The American dream is not hitting the lottery. The American dream is not getting rich. The American dream is having that living wage. And I'm telling you, 28 years of Republicans have stolen it from us.
You're listening to Thom.